Belle Boggs, The Art of Waiting, on Fertility, Medicine, and Motherhood. Delve into the complex world of human reproduction with our summary of The Art of Waiting, on Fertility, Medicine, and Motherhood by Belle Boggs. Discover how cultural and biological factors shape our desires for parenthood, the widespread problem of infertility, the challenges faced in the adoption process, and the contemporary developments in reproductive technology like in vitro fertilization, IVF. This summary offers an insightful look at the age-old human drive to have children, the societal pressures and cultural conditioning around reproduction, and the lengths to which people will go to fulfill their dreams of parenthood.
The Paradox of Reproduction. Millennia of cultural conditioning have led us to believe that children are the center of all life, but humanity has managed to reduce births despite the simultaneous promotion of fertility and contraception. From an early age, most children are taught about the privileged place of the concept of birth in our society, and cultures promote the idea that children are the future. Millennia of cultural conditioning have led people to believe that their futures should include children, and this belief is so ingrained that most children see themselves as future parents. Yet, there is also an emphasis on contraception and the importance of protection against unwanted births. Despite this contradiction between the simultaneous promotion of fertility and contraception, humanity has managed to reduce births successfully. Compared to other members of the animal kingdom, humans have relatively few children, at a worldwide average of just 2.5 kids per woman. Developed countries have even lower numbers, while poorer societies have slightly higher rates. In developing nations, women have around 4 to 6 children on average, but half of them die before sexual maturity. Most world religions and art also code the desire for biological children. For instance, the Hebrew Bible commands Adam and Eve to be fruitful and multiply, while the Hindu belief is that children are gifts and a reflection of karma. Even the earliest known works of figurative art feature exaggerated sexual characteristics like wide hips, voluptuous breasts, and prominent vulvas. These artworks are thought to depict fertility goddesses. Therefore, while we have been conditioned to value reproduction and child-rearing, contraception has helped us reduce births significantly. Cultural beliefs aside, humanity has made significant progress in controlling population growth, and it is worth noting that people have a choice when it comes to having children. Understanding the longing for children. The desire for children is deeply rooted in culture, yet scientists debate its biological origin. Some argue that a childbearing instinct exists, while others believe it is simply the sex drive. A recent study led by sociologist Anna Rotkirch found that the desire for children, or baby fever, is felt by people who never planned on having children. This suggests a deeper biological imperative underlying the longing for children, despite conflicting plans and societal pressures. The hidden pain of infertility. The issue of infertility has been overlooked in public discourse despite its widespread nature and the emotional suffering it can cause for couples trying to conceive. The misconception that infertility only affects white, upper-middle-class Americans obscures the reality that minorities, the poor, and less educated individuals are also affected by it. While infertility disproportionately affects women, both sexes suffer the same. The shame around infertility causes those affected by it to suffer without support. Historically, certain groups have been forced into sterilization, a practice that has traumatized many individuals. This summary highlights the devastating effects of infertility and calls for greater awareness and support for those affected by it. The challenges of adoption. Adoption is not a simple solution for infertility as the process is complex, expensive, and uncertain. Most people want to adopt newborns instead of older children who pose more challenges. Even when parents match with an unborn child, the birth mother frequently backs out of the arrangement, causing great despair to the adoptive parents. In the United States, around 120,000 adoptions take place every year, with most adopting parents being infertile. LGBT couples also face challenges as many adoption agencies favor heterosexual, married couples during the adoption process. Adoption became more accessible to LGBT parents after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled to legalize same-sex marriage in 2015, but just 7 states take explicit steps to protect the rights of LGBT families in the foster care and adoption systems. The high cost of modern reproduction. Animals go to great lengths to mate, but humans have options like in vitro fertilization, IVF. However, IVF is expensive, grueling, and not always successful. The process can cost between $50,000 and $100,000, preventing many people from attempting it. Humans often pride themselves on their superiority over animals, but when it comes to ensuring the continuation of our species, we may not be so different. Observing animals in the wild reveals that they will do whatever it takes to reproduce, even if it means risking their lives. From the male blue-backed manakin bird, who spends nearly a decade perfecting his mating dance, to the male barn swallow, whose display of long tail feathers attracts more females but also makes him more vulnerable to predators, it's clear that animals prioritize reproduction above all else. So what about humans? Unlike animals, we have access to various medical options, including in vitro fertilization or IVF. This procedure, developed in the 1970s, involves hormonally controlling a woman's cycle to harvest and fertilize her eggs, which are then transferred as embryos into her uterus. Despite the high cost and grueling preparation process, over 5 million babies have been born through IVF, and it remains a multi-billion-dollar industry. In the United States alone, 60,000 babies are born using IVF each year, although the term test tube baby diminishes the intense physical, emotional, and financial investment parents make in the process. Preparation for IVF requires months of research, financial planning, and drug treatments. Even with all this effort, there is no guarantee of success. Moreover, IVF is prohibitively expensive, with the average cycle costing around $10,000 and most patients needing multiple cycles before succeeding or giving up. The average cost of IVF, depending on insurance coverage, is between $50,000 and $100,000. While humans may have more choices than animals when it comes to reproduction, the high cost and physical demands of modern medical procedures like IVF mean that reproducing remains a significant and often challenging commitment.
In The Art of Waiting, Belle Boggs examines the intricacies of human reproduction while highlighting the cultural conditioning, biological desires, and challenges faced by those striving to become parents. Infertility, a widespread issue that affects both sexes and people from all social backgrounds, often goes unacknowledged due to stigma and shame. Furthermore, the adoption process, once seen as a simpler alternative, proves to be a complex, expensive, and time-consuming endeavor for many would-be parents. Despite these obstacles, modern reproductive technologies such as IVF have provided hope for millions, demonstrating the incredible sacrifices individuals are willing to make to have a child. Ultimately, this book illustrates the enduring human drive to pass on our genes and create the next generation.